Hello and welcome to the Silver King's War. I'm Michael Sievers, the writer, producer, and creator of this podcast series about my father's Second World War as a B-26 bombardier. Today we continue in the King's letters from Columbia Army Air Base in Columbia, South Carolina, as he pursues his training and a car. Stanley writes to his family on Sunday, March 19, 1944. Dearest Ones, received the swell box of cake today, but no letter. The cake is delicious and I appreciate it. Thanks a million for sending it. This has been a most miserable day. It has been raining all day. I've never been in a place where the weather changed so often. Even Birmingham isn't as bad as this. It was beautiful and warm yesterday, but now it's turning cold. Due to the rain, I wasn't able to look for the guy with the car. The only times I was out to eat and get the mail, I almost drowned. If I don't have to fly tomorrow afternoon, I'll have time to see if I can make a deal. It's days like this that I miss one so much. I'm stuck in the barracks until it subsides. I surely hope it's worth having. If the rain slackens, I shall make an attempt to swim to the movie. The club and the movie are the only two places convenient to my barracks. That makes it easier some. There is no further news. I'm fine and miss you. Hope to hear from you tomorrow. Keep well. Love to Ida, and thanks for the cake. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley's writing this week really reflects how lonely he is, as most of his buddies, of course, are married and living off base. As he writes on Tuesday, March 21st, 1944, Dearest Ones, I hardly need to tell you how disappointed I am. I've just returned from sending you the wire. I hadn't any idea it would be so difficult in making a reservation. As soon as I finished talking to you, I phoned the 3 hotels in town, and each one gave me the same story. All filled over the weekend. This being such a soldier's town, that's easily believed, but I thought surely calling so early in the week I wouldn't have any trouble. Nonetheless, I'm afraid you'll have to postpone your trip this time. I could kick myself for not calling the hotel before talking to you. That was really stupid of me. It seems that I can't do anything right these days. I'll be so damned happy when this war is over, and I won't have to put up with the independence of some low-life civilians. Be sure to let me know in your next letter what day you'll plan to be here for my birthday. They surely can't refuse me being a month in advance. Right now I am so mad I could chew nails. I do hope you aren't feeling too badly about it. I know it's a disappointment after making plans, but it just can't be helped. On a weekend, this town is overrun with soldiers. They monopolize everything. Things always happen for the best, though, so maybe it is better that you wait and come up with Dad. With Leona here, the 4 of us will have a good time together. It will be like the days past that seem years and years ago. Besides, you'll be twice as anxious to see me if you wait until then. I'm truly sorry it turned out this way. Nothing came of the car I wrote you about. Due to the weather Sunday, I wasn't able to get over to see the fellow. Monday afternoon, I went down to his squadron, but he was flying. While I was there, I learned he was shipping out tomorrow. That's what I couldn't tell you over the phone. I gave up after this because I know I couldn't get the money in time. And maybe something else will turn up, I hope. This morning I flew 3 hours on a local mission. 2 pilots were having instrument checks, so Sherry and I went along for the ride. We slept on each other's shoulder. Now I need only one more mission to complete all my time. Write real soon. I hope you won't be too angry at my ignorance. Keep well. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley is feeling low, and it's reflected in his writing as he writes to his family on Wednesday, March 22nd, 1944. Dearest Ones, I hope you've recovered from the disappointment of not being here this weekend. Received your letter written Sunday, today. I'm certainly going to have a lovely birthday with all of you. It really is a surprise to know Leona will be here also. It's surely sweet of her. I guess becoming a man is important after all. I'm sorry to hear about Jerome leaving so soon, but I'm more sorry that his folks are taking it so hard. After all, it isn't the worst thing that can happen, nor the sign of anything to come. The parents don't realize that for their actions it only makes the situation more difficult. Each man in the service is being specifically trained for a particular job, a job coupled with millions of others that will help end this war. From the very first day a fellow dons a uniform, his parents should reconcile themselves to the fact that he will someday have to see action. It should fill them with pride and honor that they have a son to offer in the service of his country. And we, as Jews, much more than others, feel this way, for ours is a personal war. The Jew is fighting for a refuge of his own, a country which he can call his own, so that from the day of victory until infinity he shall no longer be referred to as the wanderer. You see, this is strictly my opinion. I fight first as a Jew and second as an American. And I'm telling you this in hopes that you will feel the same, a sort of preparation to the coming day when I too will have to go over. Be proud of me and my uniform, but above all, remember, all of us must make sacrifices to preserve the beauty of this uniform. I have no sympathy for those who shed tears over a fellow going to do his job. Well, I don't know why I've made such a pretty speech, but I do hope you'll see my point and benefit by it. I had a very easy day. Ground school was very dull this morning. I went down to the line this afternoon, but didn't fly. It's a great life, working only half a day. Too bad it can't last, for soon I'll be busy but good. I'm glad you're having such swell times at the club. You're real society now, some class. I'm surely glad I don't have to put up with what Dad does. I don't believe I could stomach some of those people. Received a swell box of all kinds of cookies from Aunt Sylvia. It was awfully sweet of her. I'm going to write her tonight. Hope you're well. Keep writing. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. P.S. Haven't received a temple bulletin since being here. I would like to see my name in it as a lieutenant. Stanley writes with remarkable clarity about his position as a Jew and an American, fighting for the sanctity and the right to have a place of one's own, as he writes on Thursday, March 23rd, 1944. Dearest Ones, received your very sweet letter, and as always, it's the biggest event in my day. Thanks a million for writing so regularly. There wasn't any flying today due to the weather. A low overcast and slight rain persisted all day. I hope it breaks up by tomorrow so I can get my other 3 hours. I spent a few hours in the bomb trainer this morning. It was easy to tell I hadn't touched the site for a couple of months. This afternoon, ground school continued to be dull and boring. We're having a course in gunnery as to the sighting and firing of the guns. I wish it was that easy to tell them I don't want to be the navigator. Of course, it is compulsory, and if I objected to it, I would be grounded. I would much rather take my chances at navigation than be a ground officer. Robinson and the other fellows who went to Tampa were assigned to flying fortresses, heavy bombardment. Their only job will be to bomb, while I'll have to do both. The bigger ships carry more men, including a full navigator. It's a good idea to give one man both jobs, but I think it is expecting too much from a 6-week training course. I suppose I can do it. At least my record shows I can, but it's still a big responsibility. There isn't any further news. I hope you're well and will continue to write. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley's writing reflects that he has plenty of confidence about his work, both as a navigator and a bombardier. But he is also missing his guys who moved down to Tampa and are working on the bigger planes and doing heavy bombardment. He writes to his family on Friday, March 23rd, 1944. This to his father. Dear Dad, just received Mother's wire, and needless to tell you how happy I am. It will be grand spending the weekend with her, and especially seeing Sylvia and Mike, since it's been so long, but I'm truly sorry you couldn't make it. However, knowing you'll be here for my birthday sort of evens matters. I'm not surprised they were able to obtain reservations, as it seems the hotels are reluctant to reserve rooms for the military personnel here. I presume this fellow Friedlander is a traveling man, so that may have something to do with it. The Wade Hampton is a very nice hotel, perhaps the best in Columbia. While Mother is here, I'll have her make reservations for all of you next month. We can be sure of having it then. I surely don't want anything to spoil that. Instead of flying this afternoon, I was range officer on the 22 rifle range. My job was to keep order and see to it that no one got hurt. Only enlisted men were firing, as it was really the first time I've voiced my authority. I had them sirring me all over the place, and they jumped every time I opened my mouth. Believe me, being an officer makes a hell of a lot of difference. Fortunately, there weren't any accidents. I'm scheduled to fly tomorrow morning, but I'm going to try my damnedest to get out of it. I want to spend as much time with Mother as I possibly can. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I won't be busy tomorrow night. I hope you weren't too lonesome over the weekend. It was very sweet of you to let Mother come up, as I know how you hate to see her leave. I hope you're well and taking care of yourself. Please drop me a line when you have the time. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley is getting excited about being a man, as he describes it. He's about a month away from being 21, as he writes on Wednesday, March 29th, 1944. Dearest Ones, I can truthfully tell you that this past weekend comprised the best time I've had since being here. Mother, it was terribly sweet of you to come up. I know the trip must have been awfully tiresome for you, and I want you to know I appreciated it from the bottom of my heart. And Dad, it was sweet of you to let Mother come. I do hope you arrived home safely, Mother, and you were able to get some sleep on the train. I'm afraid I wasn't very good company for you and Aunt Sylvia. For some unknown reason, I felt low and despondent while I should have been very happy and very fortunate to have you here. Perhaps it was the knowing that we would have to say goodbye that got the better of me. It broke my heart to put you on the train. I know I would have given anything and sacrificed everything to have been able to go home with you. I hope you'll forgive me. I'll try to be a better host when you come up next month. In the meantime, I'll be counting the days until you all get here. Received your letter today, Dad. It was really a grand surprise. Thanks so much for writing. Yes, I suppose it is best you forget the car. I know the prices are exorbitant, but I still have hopes of picking one up here. Nonetheless, I appreciate your efforts, for I know you did your best. The weather has been horrible all day, rain and cold, so you left just in time, Mother, as you surely wouldn't have been warm enough. Due to the weather, there hasn't been any flying. I surely hope it clears up tomorrow, as time is drawing short, and I still need 40 minutes. There is no further news. Please keep well and write soon. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Our hero, the Silver King, is more than a year into his training in the Air Corps, and still a young man, not quite 21, who feels homesick an extraordinary amount of the time, and some of that loneliness certainly is reflected in his writing. He writes to his family on Thursday, March 30th, 1944. Dearest Ones, hope this finds you well and taking care of yourselves. Missed hearing from you today, but know you haven't time to write. All is well at this end. Again, I didn't fly due to the weather. Tomorrow is the last day of the month, and if I don't fly in the morning, I will lose $37.50. That is the flying pay for the month of January, and unless I get the 40 minutes, I'll lose it. That's quite a lot of money for some few minutes. The weather finally broke tonight, and there is flying. I only hope it holds until morning. Received an invitation to Betty Jaffe's wedding reception. It's to be at her home this Sunday. I suppose they are having a small family wedding. Too bad I can't be there. This is the second one I used to go with that has gotten married. You know, I'm beginning to feel my age, or should I say, twice my age. I'm anxious to hear what Leona has decided about traveling. Only 3 weeks from tomorrow. I'm beginning to count the days. There is no further news. I'm fine, but only wish I was with you at the club tonight. Keep well and write soon. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley's writing throughout the war really reflected how much he cared about his older sister, Leona, and her life in and around Chicago. He wrote to his family on the last day of March, the 31st, in 1944. It was a Friday. Received your very sweet letter today. After reading it, I suddenly felt like a new person. I don't mind telling you it left me with an awful lump in my throat. I know I have the most wonderful parents in the world. May the good Lord bless them and keep them. I'm glad you arrived safely and found Dad well and safe. Evidently you made your connections without trouble in Atlanta. I'm so glad you won't have to bother with trains this next time. To think that you will be here in 3 weeks from tonight sends a chill through me. I get more excited every day. God forbid anything should happen to spoil our plans. I don't exactly know how to put this in words, so you will understand how I feel. I can't very well say I'm practically pleased that Aunt Lena consented to make the trip with you. You must understand that I would like very much to see her, yet I don't feel this is the time. This birthday will sort of be a special occasion to me. It will be a day on which I only want to spend with my family. Perhaps this is a selfish attitude on my part, but there will be many other days that she can come visit me. Somehow it wouldn't be the same as if only the 5 of us were together. It's like Dad wrote me. It will be wonderful to have his little family together again after so long a time. And that's exactly the way I feel. Of course, Lena can't be considered an outsider, but it is this time I only want you and Leona and Lee if he can come. Why not let us spend the few days together as we used to spend them? Let them be like old times. I know I would be much happier if we did. Try to understand my feelings. If you do, I'm sure you'll be able to explain to Lena without any trouble. Tell her the truth as it is from me. I finally managed to get the much-needed 40 minutes in this morning, and this afternoon I signed my pay voucher. It was a lucky thing the weather was clear this morning, as that was my last chance. And now I'll be paid Wednesday with a nice fat check. In ground school today, I passed the requirements for code, so I won't have to get up in the morning. I can sleep until 11, and how I love that. There is no further news. Nothing has been done about my blouse. I doubt if I'll hear about it at all. Keep well and keep writing. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Our hero, the Silver King, has very strong feelings about how he wants to celebrate his 21st birthday. As we conclude his letters from Columbia, South Carolina, Part 5. And you are listening to the Silver King's War.